Queen Louise Home for Children. Check out this footage. Yeah, this is way back then when we have Sister Marin, Sister Emma, and plenty more back then. It's pretty cool, right? I once volunteered, worked there through the AmeriCorps volunteer program that they had for almost 2 years when I was younger. And I could tell you, it definitely shaped my views of life. It definitely did. So, anyways, you don't know. I will check this out. Irie. So you don't know, we gotta go back a little bit, right? Specifically to December 13 of 1904. It was in a broken down house in Frederiksted where someone found a very malnourished infant girl. It said that she was very malnourished and they found her next to her dead mother. Now, it sparked an outrage, right? But it had a lot building up to that. It wasn't just this one incident. It was happening way too often. Now, this specific one made news everywhere, including back to the Danish crowns over there. And specifically, it reached the crown princess Louise of Denmark. She was married to King Frederick, and when he then turned officially king in 1906, she turned the Queen of Denmark in 1906 as well. She founded the West Indian Committee of Child Care, and she purchased the property at 45 Strand Street, Frederiksted. They staffed it with the deaconess and some Red Cross nurses from Denmark. This video, this photo here is supposed to be from the first nurses from the Red Cross, which is pretty crazy. But anyways, that baby girl became the first child admitted to what we call and know as Queen Louise Home for Children. Now, in 1917, they'd grown to 3 facilities. They had one in Christiansted on Queen Street, and Ebenezer Orphanage for girls in Hospital Street in Frederiksted. It's pretty cool. Now, we're going to talk about Sister Marin and Sister Emma. Sister Marin, which is who you see in the video around here, she is a Danish deaconess who came to St. Croix in 1908. On Transfer Day of 1917, it said that many Danish workers left, but not Sister Marin. She stayed. Yeah. She stayed here throughout the Great Depression. She stayed here until actually 1947. She stuck it out here. Well, now we move to Sister Emma. Now, to me, Sister Emma is really impressive. She was born in St. Kitts in 1875. She was educated in Antigua. She trained as a missionary in Germany, and she was fluent in English, German, and Spanish. Now, it is said that when she applied to work in places for missionary work, in places like Sudan and Cameroon, she was denied because allegedly the white missionaries feared to accept her. They wouldn't accept a black collie as an equal, which is sad. So instead, she was sent to the Ebenezer Orphanage in Frederiksted here in St. Croix. Yeah. In 1917, after the transfer from Danish to the US, she was sent to Philadelphia. And on Pentecost of 1922, she was consecrated. Yes, she was the first black deaconess in North American Lutheran history. I'm going to say that again. She was the first black deaconess in North American Lutheran's history. Yep, she spent some time in the 1920s in Harlem, helping carry around people, especially immigrants around there during the Renaissance. And then in 1927, she came back to the Virgin Islands, to St. Croix, to run the same Ebenezer Orphanage. In there, she mentored Sister Edith Prince, who later became the second black Lutheran deaconess in America. All out to this little tiny island. When Sister Emma passed away in 1945, it is said that her funeral was one of the largest St. Croix had ever seen. Now, the control passed to a local board in 1967, around there, and the birth of Lutheran Social Services of the Virgin Islands was born. In the 80s and the 90s, they built housing for seniors and adults with disabilities like the Flamboyant Garden, Kenneth Gardens, and more. And they also opened up later on a 24-hour residential care specifically for serving children with disabilities. This facility was called Sister Emma Cottage. Yes, it was dedicated to Sister Emma herself, which is really cool. Now, Queen Louise had its fair share of trials and tribulation, right? From hurricanes, COVID, fires, and everything else. But for over 120 years, they kept their doors open, man. They serve by their motto, which is by love, serve one another. Hey, I must say this part because some people say that it wasn't, that this was whitewashed a little bit in the beginning, that the true intent of all of a sudden why they cared about the kids was because slavery was abolished, slave trade was abolished. They had to figure out the ways to now keep these kids alive long enough so that they could work. That's what they said. Now, despite if that was their intent or not, they created something that is really needed today. And it's not because of whatever their agenda was back in the days. It's just something that is needed. But it does put a little thought in your mind like, wow, damn. Anyways, that's all I got for you, eh? Y'all be safe. I'll catch you on the next one.
The cow's